So hey YouTube, um, I'm talking about presence today versus being, my brain is blipping out, presence versus performing. And as an autistic person, this is something I'm struggling with, and I don't mind sharing it, but I'm also learning that I've got to start protecting my space, and I've got to start protecting the space of other people that I interact with. And that's something that I think takes presence. I never really understood the value of what that was, the concept of what that was, or the difference between performance and presence. Presence to me is being conscious and mindful in the moment of what you're doing and how you're doing it, with the feelings of yourself and others in mind. Performance is based on simply external factors, and it can be a positive or a negative thing. Performance drives desire, it drives ambition. And when used in that context, it can be helpful, such as in work. But it can also be detrimental when it's used for approval and external validation. When it comes to being present, there's many things this applies for. You've got to be present in your own life, and you've got to be present in the lives of others. But being present in the moment too comes with its own benefits. For example, you can be present when you're doing a task. So many of us are taught to multitask and be as productive, which is its own thing in of itself, as possible. Productivity can be driven by one thing at a time and being and to have quality, or it can be driven by multitasking and having as much quantity as possible. Okay, so I'm on my soapbox about that. One thing I'm practicing with being, right, one way that I'm practicing with being present right now is cooking. I'm the type that used to run the Instant Pot, run a crock pot, run pots of water, and then I would be cleaning and working, doing at least 3 things at once. So I'd run the dishwasher and cook, and I'd maybe be doing another task. And right now I'm focusing on cooking tomato soup, which I'm going to have a video up soon of that. And part of the problem with just being productive and performing versus being present is your brain can't remember things. I struggle with that a lot. And it's hard to force yourself to do one thing at a time when you're used to doing 3 to 5. And I'm going to show you some things that I have to remember to do today. So I'm not home today. I'm in a place where I'm staying right now. I haven't been home for a couple of weeks. And I can't use a plug down here because it'll short out the old wiring in this house. And I'm going to forget that. Later on, I'm going to go to use the blender. So I'm having to do sticky notes around the house to remember things. I used to get really butthurt about this when somebody would leave me notes, but now I'm finding it helpful, so that I don't turn around and use that. This is kind of a hack, but it is what it is. I'm going to come down here and put it, this house is about 100 years old, so it's got some really old wiring. I have to, and there's an apartment attached to this house that runs off the power supply where this connector, so she's distilling water over there with the machine. I can't use that plug. And I've got a pot of tomatoes going over here. So I recognize that I'm multitasking. I'm being mindful. I'm gonna have to blend this up soon. So I'll show you some more things later. Now I think part of the purpose that these videos used to serve was fun. I did these type of videos as tutorials at a job. At first, I didn't want to do videos because I was very shy and private on camera. But then I decided to get over it. You know, part of stoicism is you just do something even if it makes you uncomfortable, as long as it doesn't compromise your values. Sorry, I was talking and I wasn't being mindful there. And it's helped me gain some confidence. Then it did turn into whining and working things out. Now, what I'd like to get out of these videos is purpose and learning to be present in the moment, but being creative in teaching. So, with that being said, being present, I can't use that outlet, so I've had to come over here. It's a smaller space, and I'm going to be blending up some tomatoes, and I have to be mindful of how I move around the kitchen too. I've still got a broken finger that's healing. So I'm going to do that and come back to filming, because I need to learn how to do just one thing at a time. And right now, I'm also making a video on this soup. I would like to teach, there's a few things I'd like to do with this. This isn't to lecture people about what I think they should do. This is just to show what's helping me learn. Second, presence. Third, I'd like to teach people some of what I know, and a lot of that is cooking, life tips. I'd like to do a segment called the Stoic Table, where I work on recipes and things that align with the Stoic things I'm learning. I'd like to do life hacks and little tips that I've learned on how to be an autistic person that's adulting. Because right now, I'm just relearning it all. I went through life just completely oblivious. And I love working with kids. I think I'd like to do some fun stuff on another channel with just kids stuff. I have a niece that I think would have fun cooking and doing different projects. So that'll be its own project in of itself. Yeah, so I'm going to come back later to this and put it together. But right now I've got to get back to the soup. So mindfulness, I've been cooking soup and I struggle with dishes. I'm going to be putting them away and cleaning as I go. When I do cooking and eating at the end of the night, that's when I struggle the most. I can't seem to do dishes at the end of the day when I get home from work. So at least I'm trying to do the big stuff when I'm doing my cooking projects on the weekend, and just rinsing stuff before I leave work, and then trying to throw it in the dishwasher when I get home, or clean it at work so that it's not gonna go crazy. My containers won't go crazy while if I let them sit. And I I'm at a place that's not where I normally am. So it's important that I learn to be mindful of what I'm doing. I'm really wanting to get better at that. I actually live, when I'm at my normal house, I live in a place where people just aren't mindful of one another and things get left. So I'm trying to just wipe things down as I go, which is kind of hard when you're cooking because I tend to make messes as I clean them. And I mean, I've been doing tomatoes, so I've got a bag of tomato, and I'm gonna get these cleaned up and come back. And I'm sure that that's gonna change through time, because what's working for me may not be the most productive thing or what works for everybody. I'm gonna go now because I'm gonna finish filming. Have a good one.